Runway 37. It was all going wrong. A storm wasn't predicted, but the weather was turning nastier by the second. Rain splatted the windshield, but the propeller smeared the droplets out of the way. Puffy white clouds had darkened to a ditchwater gray and were now turning black. The light was fading. To add insult to injury, the Cessna's engine had caught a cold. It coughed on a regular basis, and it obviously wasn't going to get Neil back home to Davis. All in all, the situation was as bad as it could get for a light aircraft pilot. He had to land the plane before the circumstances did it for him. When it came down to it, it didn't matter how good you were at flying. It was about how good a pilot you were, and that meant remembering the training. Half of flight training was about how to deal with a situation when it had gone tits up. Well, now it had gone tits up. Neil would have liked to say he was being gosh darn stoic about it all, but the amount of adrenaline he was producing said otherwise. Some pleasure flight, he thought bitterly. Get a grip, Neil. Remember, training, training, training. He tuned the radio to Davis's frequency. It was a long shot. He was 40 miles from the airstrip, and their transmitter wasn't that powerful. Davis, this is November 23762 requesting emergency assistance. Static. Neil repeated his message. He cursed. The Cessna's engine fluttered in sympathy. Oil pressure was non-existent, and the oil temperature was on the rise. He could almost hear the bearings shredding themselves into fine pieces. As much as he hated to admit it, he would have to put the plane down anywhere he could. He returned the radio to the emergency frequency. Anybody who was anybody would hear him and give him first clearance and any assistance they could. Mayday, mayday, mayday! This is November 23762 requesting emergency assistance. Engine failure. One person on board, on a northerly heading for Davis, approximately 40 miles south. He released his thumb from the transmit switch and waited for his knight in shining armor. Angry clouds grumbled ahead, less than 10 miles by Neil's estimations. Flying a plane of this size, he was too close to a possible lightning strike. It was senseless to continue with his current heading. Light had been muscled out of the way, and only blackness lay ahead. He checked out the rear windshield. It was marginally better, but even if he did turn around, where would he go? November 23672, this is Stanton. Good to hear from you, Stanton. Neil's sense of relief was audible. Where are you? About 10 miles away from your information. Can you give me a fix on any landmarks? Neil checked. He banked the plane 20 degrees to the left, then 20 degrees to the right to get a better look. Usually the most obvious landmarks were directly beneath. He spotted a large industrial works. He referred to his Northern California chart on the seat next to him. Willard Oil is directly beneath me. Stanton didn't reply for a moment. Too long a moment for Neil. November 23762, change to a heading of 030. You are cleared for a straight-in approach on runway 37 left. Neil didn't understand. Stanton, confirm runway? Runway 37 left. It had to be a joke. Runway 37 didn't exist. Runways ran from 01 through 36. They were numbered after the degrees on a circle. North was 360 degrees, hence runway 36. There wasn't anything after 36. It became 01. He hoped to Christ that he wasn't in the hands of some asshole with a radio on a power trip. Whether it was some joker or not, he turned on to heading 030. With his choices limited, it didn't matter where he came down now, as long as he did in one piece. Northern California was full of empty fields. He would settle for any if it came to it. Neil whisked out his chart again.